Yes.
There's nothing like turning on the camera and seeing that your hair looks like crap.
Exactly. That's when.
Oh
you
yeah,
find it out.
exactly.
Yeah.
Freaking supermodel. Look at, I swear to God, look, it's because I'm using product in my hair now.
Oh.
Right? I got to be careful. Briley watches this. You see, look, Briley, look. Wait, I want it more, but I don't want it that more.
You know what? This is bad. Briley watches this, and she's going to notice immediately because you know what I did.
Why? Did you cut your own hair? You did cut your own hair.
I cut the corner because it was really angled sharply this way, which is what I asked for.
She's going to kill you.
Well, I've done it before, and she's smart though because she knows. Here's the thing: if she scolds me for cutting my hair, I might be embarrassed and never go back to see her. I wouldn't be, but someone might be, right? So she knows better than to do that. It's a little like at the animal hospital. If somebody comes in and you know that this should have been seen months ago, but if you tell them, then they'll be like a bad they feel parent. Terrible, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I do that, and she fixes it always. So but I think she's a very accepting person. I think we should just leave all this in because this is real life, people. It is. You put product in your hair and it sticks out wrong. Oh, but no, it doesn't. Like yours is so. This is what I'm like. My hair's got to be shorter. Look at this. I got to do that. But I can't wear that. That just does not work on me.
Wear what? This?
Like short hair. It does. It's really.
I hate to tell you, sweet cheeks, but your hair's short.
It's short, but it's not. It's not short.
It's not this short.
I had short, like up the side and a little bit of poof on the top. And Ray said I looked like the head of a sperm. There's a what's the word? I can't remember the word now. But
that sounds like a Karen haircut. Like it was.
Oh, it was. Yeah. Oh, it was bad. It was. And the top was permed. Yeah, I would show pictures, but I don't think that anyone needs to see that.
No, we want to see them. See, I don't have any pictures when I did embarrassing things, but you should put pictures in.
I could do that.
You could.
Because I got a really short haircut just before Andrea was born. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, this is smart. I'll get it permed, and that way, I don't have to do anything. I can just get up and go. Yeah, I can get up and go because no one wants me around. Well, go farther.
Even with this, like before I get up and my hair wasn't perfect, but it was okay. But now I wake up and because like I don't shower before I go to bed like some people, but you wake up and you've still got product in your hair. And you wake up and it's like Frankenstein.
Or it's super cool.
There's a fine line.
There is
a
fine line.
Very fine
and
line.
This is so
for anybody who cares, scruffy is beyond me.
There's a you're not a Matrix fan. Did you watch the Matrix?
I've watched it, I think.
Okay.
Maybe.
There's a scene in I think it's the first one where they're explaining to Neo, the main character, who my dog is named after, about the virtual self, right? And they're saying how everybody has a what do they call it? It's like a default self-image. It's the thing that you think of yourself.
That's my default default self-image.
So that's what they put into the Matrix. Like that's the visual that they put into the Matrix. So all of us have an age that we think of ourselves, like when you imagine who you are or just whatever. It's like when you're younger, it's a certain age. Now I'm always 45. That's just, I think that's, and then I look in the mirror, I'm like, holy shit balls, what happened? Yep. But so for me, I have a basal self-image. That's it. My basal self-image is this kind of hair, but it's very swoopy. And if you go back in time and look at, because I just saw it as I walked past the mirror, I went, oh, you are getting super close to
your basal self-image.
Too far back here, baby. You need to go back to Briley.
Her hair always looks nice.
Make it stylish again.
No, it looked very nice.
Well, there's stylish, and then there's like, this is what I believe I should look like, even though fashion says otherwise.
Yeah. Anyway. Nope, I get that. And so Luna's here. I don't know where Scruffy went. All the dogs are here.
They're all doing their
but
thing.
they're being okay. Okay, so what are we drinking today, Roxanne?
Well, you know what? Let's just say hi to everyone first because we just kind of jumped
started
into
talking. What would happen if you came and met us in a pub? We'd be in the middle of it and you'd be in the middle of it, and then we'd be like, oh hi, it's good to see you.
Exactly. You'd sit down and we'd be like, your hair, it looks so good.
See?
Okay, but no, just awkward. Okay. Awkward bones and elbows. Ugh.
Yep.
We are drinking.
Wait, we're supposed to say hi to everybody first.
Oh yeah, we did. We almost got there.
Hi, welcome to Happy Hour with Ruth
and Roxy.
And we actually said it right this time.
We did.
Look at us, man.
Yeah, we did.
And just for the record, if people are thinking that I'm showing my underwear, this is a T-shirt. Keeps showing up.
It's a tank.
It's a tank top. Yeah.
Yeah.
T-shirt.
That's
tank
fine.
top. I know, but it keeps showing up, and I'm like, people are going to be like, Why is she showing us her bra strap?
I love that one, and I love the color of it.
Yeah,
Like,
this
that's
was a good one.
like
Another
a
vibe shirt,
seafoam
right?
green.
Yep.
It goes great with you. You
Yep.
can't see your pants on screen,
No,
but it
here,
just
I'll
goes
lift.
really. Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
it's perfect.
Yep.
And your necklace.
Yep.
Well done.
I wear this. I love this little Turkish artist.
It's very.
We'll put another link because I know
Yeah,
we have before,
yeah,
but he
that's
is a
very cool.
lovely human.
And you know what's funny? You say this about my eyes. Your eyes and your glasses too. You wear glasses, so it doesn't. You don't see your eyes as much, but the color of your glasses changes depending on what you're wearing, right?
Oh,
Like
that's
sometimes it's more
interesting.
blue, sometimes
Right.
it's more green.
Right, that's interesting. See,
That's how those.
my eyes also stay black like the devil.
You have very blue-green eyes too, though.
Yeah, well,
But,
can you
yeah.
see them, people? Do they look bloodshot? My dog wants into her house because he thinks there's food. You're not
Well,
going in there. He's old.
there's-
He'll forget in a minute, though.
There's crumbs and there's Kongs that have peanut butter residue.
Yep.
That
Yep.
should probably kill someone.
Yeah. Okay.
It's disgusting. So
What are we drinking? What do you think we're drinking
What
up
do you
there?
think we're drinking? It has teeny tiny bubbles in it,
Yes.
and it's very light colored, and it's
It
our
is from
favorite
BC.
thing. It's Stoneboat Bubbles.
Stoneboat
Shocking.
Bubbles. Well,
But-
I don't think we've tagged them. Have we tagged them? We need to
Oh,
tag
we
them.
tag them all the time.
Do we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Stoneboat, talk
okay,
to us.
So when I put that in the show notes,
Yep. That does nothing.
okay, then we haven't tagged them.
Okay, we'll tag them on social media because
Technical.
actually
I'm not
it
the
does
technical
it
person.
does tell them somebody's linked to them.
Okay.
But I expect they come and they look and they go, I'm not watching an hour and a half.
Right, to find
So
out.
we'll tag
yeah,
them
exactly.
in social.
So you know what we also could do? Maybe we use one of these images from the beginning where we're holding our glass,
That's a great idea.
and we
Or, you
use
know,
that.
the bottle.
Yeah, we use that
See?
as our. There's a word for it. This is all
Thumbnail,
podcast thumbnail. Thumbnail?
isn't it?
Is that right?
I don't know.
I think that's right.
Used to be
Wow.
in publishing, man. I used to, magazines. You knew what a thumbnail was.
Yeah, yeah. There's something about cards too in there.
It's a whole
YouTube,
thing.
YouTube novice here. Yeah,
We're
but
learning, but we
Mhm.
are learning. So please subscribe so that we can learn more.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I want to be like the people on the show that I was watching. I
the
watched
people
whole
on
thing
the
now.
show that I was watching last night, you know what it is?
Nobody Wants That is what it's called.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the two podcasting sisters. And I'm like, this is their job.
Kristen Bell and I forget who.
Yeah, I don't. The other one is relatively new. She's not as well known as Kristen Bell.
We'll do a link for that too.
Yeah,
It's
but
very good.
I
It's
want
really
someone
funny.
to come and approach us to buy our podcast.
We need to get more than 50
need to-
subscribers
yes.
on YouTube first.
I think that's a great idea. But I'm watching this. I'm like, you guys, how is this your job? Because that, like that's the goal for everybody who does a podcast, right? And I'm watching these two. They don't do anything else. This is what they do, and they live in nice apartments, and they wear great clothes, and they go to nice restaurants. I'm like, how?
They get people to subscribe to YouTube, and then people sponsor them, and they do all the things that we're trying to do. But you know what
It is
happens?
not that
we have
easy.
business. No, it isn't that easy. But we also have business planning meetings, and we talk about it. We all write it down, and then we go back to our regular life, and it doesn't.
Because-
but it's gonna happen
Because we have a regular life. We don't
Yes.
have a production person.
Right.
Like on that show, they have a
Yes.
producer. And
because
they have technical
they
people.
have a lot of subscribers on YouTube or wherever
Yeah,
they
but
are.
which comes first, Ruth? Which comes first?
The production person or the thing?
The production person or the quality that attracts all the people?
But we have the quality that
We
attracts
have
all
the
the people.
quality.
And I'm a freaking PR person. We should be doing better. You should fire me.
Oh, that went sideways fast. Wasn't really planning on that, but
But yes. But anyway, please share it. Please ask people to subscribe. Beg them. Tell them we're begging. Jimmy Kimmel's is ghosting us, so we
He's
need to
ghosting
beg.
us. Or just come and keep us company and send us a message to say, hey, you know what? I was on a really long, boring drive, and you guys helped keep me company.
That's
That'd
true.
be great. Help keep me from driving into a ditch.
That's true.
If we made you drive into a ditch,
Don't
I
tell
don't
us.
want to know about it.
And also don't tell our insurance company.
No.
Okay. Okay, I got one for today. So it's still crazy out there. Maybe crazier.
Yep.
Because, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on that you can't even imagine. So life in the shit show. Finding light in the madness. Chalupa, could you not scratch the couch?
This is life with 4 dogs.
It is life with 4 dogs. Hey! So let's talk about finding some light in the madness. So what's a joy you had today?
A joy I
Oh my
had
God,
today.
as soon as we stop looking, he's digging again.
Oh, it's fine. He's going to lie down
I'm going to throw the
momentarily.
ball cap on.
Oh, sure. Let me do it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he noticed. He's like, what?
Don't do that.
What?
That's what happens when I'm in a meeting and he's in the office and he's like doing something like licking.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like tossing not pens that are out, but like pens at him,
Yeah.
so he gets distracted.
See, if I did pens to him anyway, he'd be like, oh, she gave it to
Toy.
me, and he would take
It's
it
a
away,
toy.
and there'd be ink everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasn't
Anyway,
happened yet,
so
but-
what joy did you have
What
today?
joy did I have today? The joy. You got to give me some warning for these questions.
Well, you are digging in the dirt.
I was digging in the dirt, and that does give me joy. So when I see an area that used to have weeds in it, and now it doesn't have weeds in it, and now it is like relatively clean, and the plant in the new place that I put it looks really good, that does give me joy. And then
That's a
I
good
get
one.
up and my knees are like, what the hell? And then I have to find new joy.
Yes, you do, because you just
I just
you
kind of
just cut out
negated
the
it.
up still.
Yes.
So but that's just it. So mine,
Gardening does give me joy. So how about
it really
you?
does. So
Yeah.
so mine is we planted all these wildflowers and sunflowers,
Oh.
and the little tiny green
Yeah.
sprouts are, and that gives me true joy.
And those ones, like, it's a mix, right? It's a wildflower mix, and you just throw it on the dirt. You don't even.
Well, we dig some in, and
Do
then
you dig some
yeah,
in?
and then
Okay,
I'll put a
okay.
bunch. I don't know.
Yeah.
He does it, so I don't know. I don't know if he reads the back of the thing and does it, or
But this is the third year you've done it, I think. Just the second.
I think so. Because my sister gave me the first
Okay.
container, and then we bought. She actually gave me a whole bunch for Christmas, but
Okay.
we thought we'd be moved by then, and so we
Yeah.
put them under the house somewhere, and now we can't find them. So I had to go buy more.
At Christmas time, you thought you'd be moved by now. Think of that.
I know.
Think of that. That is
We're not.
sad. Clearly, she's not.
Yeah, and it's not even like we know what date, because we're having a showing tomorrow. That'll be
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
That'll
yeah.
be good. But you just have to take it, and it's not like we're in a bad, like we're in a really nice place.
It's
Right?
it's a great life, but there's a sense of not knowing what's going to happen next. Like in I have no words left, Ruth.
But
My-
is it?
my
But
words are gone.
because I was thinking about this, because we saw a house that we really liked, and it was actually a surprisingly good price, and it actually turns out there's probably a strategy behind that, because they wanted a bidding war, right? But it went very quickly, and I was thinking about that, and it's like I was thinking about I have to quit falling in love with houses, because it's just a disappointment. But then the flip side to that is also. But you don't really know anything. Like, everything's an unknown in life. You don't know what could change
Yeah.
when.
Yeah.
Right? And so I was starting to think, I'm getting so fixated sometimes about, I need to know what, because I'm good at, good or bad, I'm good when I know the thing.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
not good at this limbo.
Yeah.
But life
the
is limbo.
unknown, the indecision.
But it's all it.
Yeah.
Because so much of what your life is about, you don't have any
is
control
beyond
over,
your control.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's an interesting thing.
Yeah. I know that's kind of sucks, actually. But because I don't know if you have this sense, but I've had this sense in my head, I've heard this from others too, about how, when does your real life start? And we just moved our daughter. She moved from an older place into a
Not our daughter.
Not our daughter.
Their daughter.
We don't have any
We don't
children
have a
together.
daughter. We have dogs
We have dogs sorted together.
and a podcast.
Yes, and a podcast. But my husband and I bought a condo, and our daughter's renting it from us. And her old place was quite old, and she kind of needed a change. And we just were like, you know what? We want to make sure she never has to deal with a bad landlord. Well, now she has to deal with us, but so
Heaven
hopefully
help
we're
her.
better.
Heaven help her.
Heaven help her. But anyway, I started this with a plan in mind. And,
But life, when does life start?
Yeah, and that's such a common thing about young people. And I remember this. It's like, oh, when I graduate high school, well, then my real life will start.
Yeah.
Oh, when I get married, when this last kid is born, when we move to this house, then I can. And my husband jokes about it. He's always like, oh, we'll buy this fill in the blank appliance, whatever. And then you'll be happy, right? Then you'll be happy. And I'm like, shut up. I'm happy now. But
Yeah.
also I'm
I'd be
always
happier.
striving. I'm always striving. Because what's the quote? I don't know what poet it is, life's reach must exceed your grasp, or what's a heaven for?
Right, right.
We always, I think, as humans, are always looking for the next
Well,
thing.
and
We
aspiring.
want aspiration. That's
right?
it.
That's here. I'm writing this down for you.
Good, thank you. That's the thing. Like, I think that we need something to look forward
Yep.
to,
And
right?
to even if it's a small thing, and it might be and I didn't order something from Vibe, but there have been many times where it's like, oh, it's going to be here tomorrow. I'll have something great.
Exactly.
And honestly, I don't need any more linen cotton shirts. I have a lot. I don't need, but you do it because it's like, it's exciting and it's this micro. Oh, my life will start when I get that.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Like I'll get up and do my hair and I'll put makeup on instead of wearing the happy hour sweatshirt and the same jeans I've had on for a week. Right? Like, well, but I think we all do that, right?
I think so too, and I think that's part of the emphasis on being present, right? Like that's in the last 10 or 20 years. Like the yoga people are all about that, and the therapists are all about that. Like be present in the moment, and that's the thing. Like we're always looking ahead to tomorrow, and once I've done this, once I've achieved this, once I've accomplished this, once I have this much money, once my kids are grown and gone, or whatever.
Once I've lost that 20 pounds,
exactly.
Once I've done this, like it really is. There's so much of it. And we put off so many things that I think it's good to have aspirations and have plans and have ambition, right? But the other side of it is don't keep waiting for tomorrow. And that sounds like such a cliche.
Totally. But it's out. But no matter what, we've talked about this before too. You hear things, sometimes you have to hear things a dozen, 20, 100 different ways before it lands. Yep. Right. And that's one of those things. Yes, it's a cliche, but until it lands just the right way with you, it won't make sense. And when it does, you're like, yeah,
I get it.
Okay, I get it.
But and a cliche is a cliche for a reason. It's because people say it a lot. You know what I mean? It's like it's because it actually is a common sense or feeling or action or something.
It's an
like
important
that, right?
common experience.
Like idea or right.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. So it was funny because we've been talking, we're moving eventually, but Paul and I were talking about it because we have the opportunity now is what kind of home to have, right? And we see, there's a beautiful one that's got beautiful ocean views and it's a little bit north of Qualicum Beach on Vancouver Island. And that's a more expensive house. And it would need some work in the kitchen and all that. But then there were some other, lower price houses that still would be amazing, but different. But we were talking about you always strive to do more, right? You don't necessarily strive to do less. And as you hit a certain age, 21, you start. But he and I don't know what it feels like not to strive because we met within a few years. We started our business. We didn't have kids, but we were always working on the business. And the other part of it was we wanted to see certain things. And we've always had, each of us separately before we met, had bucket lists of travel. But we're always like...
That must have been a huge...
it's a connection. Right?
Connection for you guys, because you both love to travel.
Yeah, but it's interesting because we've always been, like, certainly enjoying what we have, because I think that's something my mom taught me. But the other thing was always like, but look at what, like, we don't have any trips planned right now, right? I've usually had at least one on the go, and the next one at least something booked. You know what I mean? Like we're usually working 2 ahead, and we don't have anything, and it's kind of like, who am I then? Right, but it's interesting.
Moving to the island is a trip in itself, right? And the variables
in many
about all
ways.
of that, the unknown, the unknown of all of that though is like, well, until you know what property you're going to buy, what's it going to cost you to upgrade it if you need to upgrade it?
Right.
What's it going to cost if you buy something that doesn't need any upgrading? You don't know those things.
No, and
the world is so weird right now in terms of travel and the prices of everything.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. So I think that's a really common thing right now with lots of people just saying, don't need, it was like this during the pandemic or kind of, people said, oh, can't travel, so I'll invest in my home. Yeah.
It was very much,
I'll get a dog. I'll get a dog is what everyone said.
Yeah. But it is interesting when you and you guys would know this and you're, when it comes to sort of the retirement part, at least Ray is a little bit more ahead of us. Like you're still
I'm still aspiring.
Yes, right, but you know what I mean?
Not hit what I want.
No, and I don't think emotionally we've hit it yet. But when Paul was like, so we've always been striving for something, and what happens if what you're striving for is less? And it really hit. Like I was just like I don't talk to me for 5 hours. I have to think about this.
So on the walk today, that's the first time I've heard him talk about retirement. And he's like, in 5 years, I want to be retired.
So he can Google, what is it?
How do birds build nests?
Yeah.
He's like, I just want to sit and watch Google videos about birds building nests.
But also he's been working on this really big project for months. And it's almost at the end, but it's not.
Fried.
But he also is like, I think it's kind of like after every big project, like every commission we've ever done, is like, we're never doing that again. And then,
Yeah.
of course, we do, right? I think it
Yeah.
is, like, in his mind, that's giving him some release,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be this way. This is a choice to take
Right.
on these projects or not, right? Like, and that's a good thing to remember, because I'm a bit like, well, y'all, whoever was with me last year saw me with the 4 books in 16 months, right? Like, there's a thing that happens at the end where you're like, oh, I survived and I will never do that again in my life. It was horrible. And then, you decide to have another kid, because that's exactly what it's like. You're like, no, I'm not done. And that was really,
And
like,
I'm
it was
rested
hard work,
now,
but
and
I'm good. And I can do
you
it.
feel like you achieved it. Like, for us, we're really fortunate that, mortgage free, but the range of houses we like in the island goes from like 750,000, say, that needs a bit of work, and not a huge amount, but some work,
Yeah.
and to like 1.1 million. And it's like, so if you're fortunate enough to be, knock on wood, a reasonable financial situation, so you can be mortgage free, but then it's like, holy man, what if we paid 800 and we had all that money to put into investments?
Yeah.
Right? Like, it becomes this, but then it's kind of like, but what if we want to really like the options right now are too great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a really interesting thing to go through and I actually I think I told you this, I had a full-on discussion with ChatGPT about all of this, because it asks good questions.
I love it when our AI people are our advisors.
Yeah. I argue with ChatGPT all the time, but anyway. But I asked it, and it was like, what are your values? Right? What do you want? What do you want to be in? Where do you want to be in 5 years? And not physical, but
Yeah.
is it that you never, that you're not thinking about work or money and you can travel anywhere? Is it that you want a big house that takes upkeep because that gives you purpose? Like, but it was an interesting thing, because honestly, I don't know.
I just had a great idea.
Oh, you're scaring me now.
So you've done The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, right?
Yep.
So I've done it a couple times too, and I keep thinking about it and then not doing it again, because it's 90 days of daily journaling, and it feels a bit like been there, done that.
Yeah.
But you're still doing love notes from time to time.
Sometimes.
But the prompts in there might be really
Oh,
good
that's
prompts for your love notes,
Yeah.
also to help you kind of explore some of this stuff,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Because those are the questions.
Yeah.
That's what the entire Artist Way thing
Yeah.
is helping is identifying, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want
Yeah.
out of life? What is important to you? What are
Yeah.
your values? How might you get that? Because the questions are always things like, if money were no object,
Right.
what would you buy /
Right.
do /
Right.
like, if you
Yeah.
had all the time in the world. And we often don't give ourselves space to think that way.
No, we don't.
Right? Because we're busy. We're busy
Yeah.
doing the things required to pay for the stuff that we have.
Well, that's just it. And I think
Luna, you're
those
fine.
are,
You
it's
don't need
really,
to go
those are
anywhere.
good questions, but those are also questions of privilege, right? You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yes.
Like,
Oh, they
it's one of
absolutely
those.
are.
It's one
Yeah.
of those things where it's like, to be able to ask yourself, even to imagine, what if money were not an option? Because,
Yeah.
even maybe, and I think actually Elon Musk has money problems on his own, because Tesla's in the shitter.
Yeah.
But it's to be able to ask yourself, because I think for me, I'd rather ask that question, but follow it up with, okay, so let's be realistic, here's where you're sit,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
In the thing, what could you do today?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To move you forward
Yeah.
to that. And I think that's just it. And even being able to do that is a real challenge. So I remember, and it was way early on in us opening our little company, and I had read a book that I've talked about before. It's the Martha Beck book, right? And she had gone to this great safari lodge in South Africa that back then, and I'm talking 15, 18 years ago, was 1,000 or 1,200 US a night per person, right? And I was like, and also she talked about the gorillas in Uganda, and I was like, Paul, we're going to do this. And he's like,
What?
yeah, okay. But we did it because I got them as a PR client.
Yeah.
Right? So I still got to do it, but maybe not the way for how the Artist Way might have said it.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Like, I did it. It was like within the context of the fact that we're
Yeah.
not going to spend 2,400 US a night.
Ooh.
Right? How am I going to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
But that's brilliant, right? Because the first thing you did was recognize that that was a goal of yours.
Yeah.
Recognize that idea was something that your heart craved or had been craving, or whether you knew it or not.
Oh, there was definitely a reason.
Yeah. So, that's the serendipity that Julia Cameron talks about. But you're right about privilege. Julia Cameron is the sister to James Cameron, who did Titanic. Right. And she was married, I want to say Scorsese. I don't know if that's right.
Oh,
I think she was
married to somebody.
Yeah, she was married to somebody.
And again, it's like so many of the successful actors in Hollywood, right? Come from wealthy families because it is a privilege to be able to put your heart and soul into your art. When
it's the arts, right? Pretty much, no matter what one you talk about, the arts are a privilege to make a living, or at least to. I mean, you need a patron, right?
Yeah, well, that's
mostly.
just it, and
that's my husband. He's a patron. He's my patron.
Right, but that I think that's just it. And thinking about that kind of thing is because there are lots of people I expect with talent out there, but they're working 2 jobs because they've got kids and they're not in any position where there's generational wealth to help them. Yeah. And that's heartbreaking to me. But like we are, for our little bit of success, right? Paul and I did it.
You guys you're downplaying. You shouldn't downplay it. AHA is an amazing boutique PR and communications agency.
But you know what? But we did it. But we did it within the context of, well, if we're going to do, and I've always had the mantra, if it's to be, it's up to me. Yeah. Right. Like it's like I've never had the luxury. Right. I mean, I grew up in a middle class family. I was really more fortunate than some people. Right. I mean, but thinking about what could you do to move you even a little bit forward, but that again it's still privilege, because what do you do if you're a single parent and you're working 2 or 3 jobs for some people, right? Yeah. And you think you're going to have time on a stinking Sunday morning to paint, right? And yet, that's why, like, when people talk, and I was just reading an article and it was like, why people who are receiving, support, welfare, or anything like that, is like people are mad they have, they might have a cell phone, or they might have paints. Right. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, could you, first of all, none of your business. And unless they're not there,
you don't know what else they gave up for that.
But that's just it, right? And everybody deserves a little bit of joy.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's just really interesting when we start judging.
Yeah. I find it really interesting hearing the origin stories of authors. And I mean, to read Stephen King's his book on writing, which is like a Bible for aspiring writers everywhere, you get to see what it was like when he and his wife were young. He was a teacher and they were living in an apartment, and I mean his place to write was like right next to the washing machine or something like that, right? And his big hit, I think, was Carrie, was the one
one of the first ones that broke, right?
That and they're like, oh good, we can pay the water bill now. Like those, Nora Roberts, she was a single mother, she was a newly single mother raising a couple of boys, doing, I don't know what other job she had, but she was like, she's working, put the kids to bed and then write,
and do that.
And this is so many authors I've heard that are like that. Well,
Jimmy Buffett was, he had got an album together, but he was, and his then girlfriend, and they ended up married for decades, was off somewhere, and so he had written this song, but he had another song, and whatever the album was, but that's when they were like, you don't get a bunch of money on your first album, right? Like you get a little tiny bit to keep you alive, and so you can have, but he was there, and he had found out they had released a different song than he had wanted them to as the first single back when they did singles, and it was a song called Come Monday, which was his first hit. And then it went up the charts, but he was living in like a 1-room motel room, and he didn't know where he was going to get the next week's rent, right? Yeah. And so it's like, but that's just it. Like, somebody saw some talent in him, somebody recognized it, but it doesn't happen right away. No. Right? Yeah. But it is. I always think about the privilege that many of us have had, even though we've come from sort of simple circumstances, because I haven't had to work 3 jobs to raise kids. Yeah. Right. I haven't had, a marriage go so south
Yeah.
that I've had to go to the courts to fight for,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like all the stuff, and yet there's talent out there, and that's why I like some, like, I'm not a big, you know, rap music fan, but that entire genre grew out of the streets from people that nobody was paying attention to, and yet there was a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and I really, I love the you know, the stories of people breaking through.
Yeah.
And we all still have the chance, because honestly there's lots of people that didn't find
Yeah.
any success
Yeah.
until they were in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
You know, there's still chance, but it also, society in general, American society right now,
Yeah.
not at all, but that's why I'm always happy to pay, like, I'm happy to pay for books, and I'm happy to pay for
Yeah.
CDs, and because oh my goodness, these people put their heart on the line
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these two.
This little love fest
There
going
is a
on
little
down
love
here.
fest.
Yeah.
Okay, what else we got
Really?
here?
You're just teasing him.
Oh my goodness, it's a crazy life. Oh, look at Paul's going golfing.
What? Right now?
Yep, he
Oh,
got everything
good for
over to
him.
them, and he needs to go.
Oh.
He got everything over because whatever it is we're working on right now, the premier's going to read it tonight.
Oh my god.
So-
I can't believe that.
Yep. So we'll see how it goes. Would you like to come up,
Look
Scruffy?
at the eyeballs.
I know.
The eyeballs.
Jimmy, you want to come up? I'm just going to move so little Scruffy can get up. Are you coming up?
I'm probably
Come
going
on,
to edit
buddy.
all this out.
Yeah. Come on, Scruff. Up. Come on. Holy, I can't
Oh.
move any farther, buddy. Come on.
You can do it,
Scruffy.
Scruffy. Come on up. There we go.
There. Can you guys
we
see
go.
Scruffy?
Ooh, show your bracelet.
Ooh.
I haven't seen that one.
I think we were trying to remember. I think I got this in Spain.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Very pretty, isn't it? Paul should go golf. It's a good thing. Anyway, Scruffy
That
has now
is-
joined us. He's
There
being
he
very
is.
shy today. He's not usually a shy dog.
No, not
Okay.
so much.
So okay, I have another thing. It's not that deep, or is it? The small things we obsess over, like perfecting a recipe, guilty, or curating a playlist, and why that perfection actually matters to us, right? Because I often will try things, and I make Roxanne taste test it, which, you know,
Someone's got to do it. It's a rough life.
yeah,
It's a rough life.
But then it's like, I'll do it better next time. I'll do this, right? And it does become an obsession, right?
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
like, and I wonder if that feels like it gives me some kind of control in a world that's out of control.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
You obsess about your garden.
I do. It's true. And I obsess about my bread. Oh,
But your bread
it
is so
didn't.
good.
Yeah, most of the time. But even, like, I brought some bread to Megan, it was like a little tiny housewarming. Also, you have nothing in your fridge because it's in half. At least
Right.
now you got something to eat. And I said to her when I dropped it, it's not my best work. Like, don't.
Right?
Why? Why do I do that? Because
Because it matters somehow.
yeah, like I don't want to, and then I just end up being like, oh, I can't ever have anyone over because I can't guarantee whatever I make is going to be fine.
See?
Paranoia, and also, like, no one cares that much
Nobody cares that much.
except us.
Yes.
Like it's so funny. He tucks his tail and runs away.
Chalupa wants to be really good friends with Neil.
Yeah,
But yes.
he's kind of a
Okay.
Hey, for
What?
once it's me.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Hey.
How long's that
Hey.
been sitting there?
Damn it.
Damn it.
Okay, watch me spill it now, because I'm
Can I help you with that? No,
I'm not.
It's all good.
No, I'm good.
It's all good.
I know what I'm doing.
Oh.
Okay, here's another one that in this theme, clearly there's a theme. Letting go of the dream life you thought you'd have, or navigating expectations versus reality, right?
Okay, so do you have something that when you were a kid, you thought, oh, I could be this one day? Or do you remember that sense of, well, maybe I'll be this, maybe I'll be that, maybe. So for me, it was, oh, I could be a figure skater. And I took lessons when I was a kid, and I was not good, but still, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I could be a figure skater. I took art classes. Oh, I could be an artist. I took classes in reflexology. Oh, I could be a reflexologist, and I could identify things by touching people's feet. I could heal them.
Right.
I was going to be a physiotherapist at one point. I was going to be this. I had so many things
That interest you.
that interested me, And oh, I could do this, and I love nothing more. I could be a professional student. That's what I should be,
Yeah.
if anyone would only pay me for that. But because I like learning, you know, and I get excited about things. And now I'm like, you know what? I should just aim to get up, shower, dress, do a crossword puzzle, have lunch, make supper, watch TV, go to bed. What's wrong with that life?
Nothing, but that's just what we talked about before, about the thing of what are you striving for? Because I think you would do that for a week.
That's the problem. Like whenever I try to kind of cut back, or whenever I finish a project, you know, and my husband's watching and he's like, you killed yourself on that. Like you almost, how is this good for you? This is a terrible idea. Don't ever do that again. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That was really hard on me. I got gonna stop. Yeah, right. And then
something
after
comes
a little
to
while,
mind.
Like, but I'm bored.
Yep.
But I want to do something else, but I'm bored, but I got a good idea. Oh, this is the best idea I've ever had.
See?
And then boom, it starts all over again.
That's exactly right. But I think like we talked about this way early on in the beginning, because we're coming up to 2 years on the podcast soon. Yep. So, but about not having to do things perfectly.
Yeah.
Right? That if you want to sing. You don't have to, and you don't have to become an expert at it. You could just enjoy it. And that it was like in the days of Jane Austen, they just did things.
They were ladies of leisure.
Yeah.
They
did the things.
They did the thing. And there's a line in, I think it's Pride and Prejudice, where one of the characters says, I can't believe ladies, they're so good at everything. They color screens, and they cover this, and they paint, and they dance, and they sing, and it's amazing. Yeah, well, they don't do any of it well.
Yeah,
they do it. But they do it adequately.
Right.
Because it's their thing.
And because they have the time to do it.
Because they have the time.
Like,
yes.
But I think that's the thing. Like, so you and I are going to do paper mache soon, because I saw something online and I want to make a flamingo.
Love paper mache.
Right. So we're going to, but it's fun to do it. And it's like, but I think you could learn the little things and learn whether you like it or not. But the other thing is like.
But you don't have to make a lifetime commitment.
No, and that's just it, right? And like, because what you were saying about, so growing up, I was interested in everything. And at about 5, because I had an uncle who was a veterinarian, I was like, I'm going to be a veterinarian. And he's like, okay, honey. And he had a practice in just outside of Chicago.
He was mixed animal, right?
Right.
Did he do large
he did. Well, he did large animals at first.
Oh, okay.
And then after he had a clinic in Chicago somewhere. In Danville, Illinois, actually. So I don't know where that is compared to Chicago, but we drove to Chicago all the time. But he was like, okay, you come to work with me for a day. And he let me come into surgery.
How old were you
I don't know.
then?
By then I was probably 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, nope, I'm out. Nope, I'm out. But I also knew that I wanted to learn all the things, and I loved words, so it was like, I'm going to be a journalist, because then I'll get to ask people, I get to ask the experts questions, right?
Yes. You don't have to know everything about everything, but you can talk to anybody about anything.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's the joy of being a writer.
Yep. That's just it. You get to hear everybody's stories.
Yeah. And also, like, so maybe I'm going to write a story that has an engineer character in there. I'm not. But if I was.
It came up pretty quick, didn't it?
Yeah. But if I was, I'd be like, well, I'm going to talk to some engineers, ask to see if this is this how your day works, your life? And then you learn about it, and suddenly you're that annoying person at a party who knows a little bit about everything and can correct everybody a little bit on lots of things.
That was like when I worked at McLean's. Every night, because Friday nights we worked late, and then we were back in early Saturday mornings, like to close the magazine. And at like 11 o'clock on a Friday, we'd all go home, because you have to be back for 9 in the morning. But we'd all go across the street to the Hop and Grape in Toronto.
Hop and Grape?
Yep. And for a beer or a glass of wine or whatever. And you never wanted to sit beside a freaking researcher, because they knew everything. Oh. And you never played Trivial Pursuit with those people either.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because they knew everything, right? Because they fact-checked everything, right?
Totally. Yeah.
And they just, and they were these detail-minded geniuses, right? And so it was just like, the stuff that came out of them was just like, oh my God, like they knew facts, because they were the ones that made sure it was facts getting in the magazine. Wow. It was awesome.
You're like, no, Ernst, the guy from Art Deco, ERNS, whatever.
Yeah, but that's just it, right?
And I mean, I learned that from crossword puzzle this morning.
See?
And also spelled it wrong just now. But that's the interest. Like, it's fascinating, but yeah, super annoying sometimes.
It's like engineers. So I worked with our friend Della. We did a whole bunch of facilitations for for an engineers and geoscientists association.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, heaven help you if something went wrong with the technology, right? So like all of a sudden, I don't know, the sound goes out of the PowerPoint, like this is a long time ago, so it wasn't quite as complicated and complex and more detailed. But it's like, if there was a glitch in any technology, you had 15 people standing around you explaining how to fix it. And they're talking to you in engineer language. And I'm just like, what button? It was
Can you
like,
just...
But also like, again, very focused, brilliant minds here. Mm-hmm. Like, try to get them to talk about Jimmy Buffett. Well, actually, there was one that loved Jimmy Buffett, so that was okay. But like so many people have so much to contribute to the world. And that's why I think, like, when we go to parties, we're asking people questions.
Yeah.
Because there are some really interesting people in this community.
People are...
But in the world, like...
People, everybody has a story to tell.
Yeah.
Everybody has something interesting. It's very odd. Every now and then I'll have an interaction with somebody where afterwards I'm like, oh, I talked too much. Oh, I said too much. Ooh, that was uncomfortable because I should have shut up more. And I do that more now because I have more confidence, probably, belief in myself or something than I did when I was younger. But my tendency is still to listen more because I'm interested in what people have to say, and I want that. So sometimes I have to pull myself back, but that's the thing. Everyone has interesting stories.
But the other side of that is and you never talk about this, but you have hit a level of success, right, with your books that I mean, you're a best-selling author. You've got 2 movies hanging out there, right, that are like, you know what I mean, like, but also, and life experience, right? Yeah. All of the things that you've had, people are interested in hearing. So as introverts, and also as people who spend their days writing stories, we're not used to being like, I'm just like, nothing, nobody, nowhere, I don't know,
nothing
I didn't
to
do
see
anything.
Here. No,
right?
No, boring, going to bed soon.
But it is, and I just read a thing, it was Humans of New York that came up in my memories on Facebook, and it was about this woman who said, she was like 80-something, and she's like, you know, the best thing about me today is I'm still interested. And she said, not interesting, because that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
She said, but you know, I'm taking this workshop this afternoon, and I forget what she said. And she said, and tomorrow there's an online live video tour of some art museum in Europe, right? And she was saying all these things, and it was just like, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to still be interested.
Exactly. So I don't know if they still do it, but so when I did my editing certificate through SFU, I think I was telling you about, because I mean, I've done this my whole life, is looked at the community college catalogs when they come out. They don't come out the way they used to anymore. It used to be a paper thing that came at your door, and I would pour through it. I would highlight things.
Me too.
Ooh, I'm going to learn to like arrange flowers, and then I'm going to learn Spanish, and then I'm going to take this thing on how to fix your own car and talk to mechanics as a woman or whatever.
Yeah.
And I've done it, but that's how I did a reflexology course. Like, I love doing that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But again, forgot where I started here in this conversation.
She's had a week being interested.
Oh, yes. So when I started my editing course, I'm looking through all the things that SFU has, and they had a whole series of lectures for senior citizens, which I wasn't at the time. I may or may not be now. I'm not actually sure.
Yes, you are.
Not
by old age pension, which they should totally rename, man.
Not chronology, but
like it depends, because some places senior citizen is 55, and in some places it's 60.
Right.
And
some places it's 65.
Well, for the government, right? It's 65.
So they had this whole series of of lectures that you could attend, and this was during COVID, so they were virtual. But one of them was interpreting whale sounds, and I'm like, I want to take that one. If only I was 65 or whatever I had to be to take that one. And it was like, the Baroque music, musical structure. It was like all these super esoteric, like tiny little niche information things. I'm like, that's what I'm going to do.
Cool,
man.
Right?
I don't know that they do that.
See, I would like to do it online. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to talk to anybody.
That's it. Yeah.
I did a lot of like, I did a tour of Auschwitz, a live video tour with a university of somewhere in Germany who is a specialist, right, in those years, a historian, and he walked through and told us all the things, right, as he was walking through and the explanations, and it was like a 3-hour video, which honestly typically I'd be like, whatever, and it was like 9 a.m, so it wasn't like I was having wine, right, but it was like, it was fascinating. I did a bunch of video, like travel video stuff like that and all the things, and it was just like, there's a whole world, like even in the virtual reality headsets that we used to work out, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there too, right?
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's very true. I know. The one in the pyramids, or not? It's not the pyramids, but it's an Egyptian hall or something.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
It's
really cool, right?
I've never had a real yen to go there, but then I see that and I think, oh, maybe.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us about your washing machine. We're going to talk about
Oh,
something
yes. So because we're showing the house and, hopefully you get an offer, and that means a house inspector, building inspector, whatever they're called, comes and sees it. And last night, just before I go to bed, little anxiety-ridden me, Paul's like, hey, look, about a week ago I saw a little puddle, so I've been watching it. And there's a little puddle under here, and I'm sure it's just like, I forget what it's called. It's like the rubber thing around the...
I think it's called a gasket.
Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I think it's just a rubber thing that's come loose, right? So so there's a little, because it's not a huge amount of water. It's not a little tiny, but you can see the splotches on the front of the machine. So I'm thinking that it's spinning and there's a loose, whatever it is, in the door. So it's like, that's all fine, blah, blah, blah. So the guy's coming on Monday. So I had to come over here today and sort of explain all this to Roxanne, including that, Paul had to tell me that just before I was going to sleep. And
That's bad.
and see if, because we're not going to use it, just in case it's something bigger, see if I could please, do some laundry over here. Like I'm a college student again, and it's like, are you going home for the weekend? Can you take my laundry?
Oh, that's the worst.
Anyway, what were you going to tell me about this?
So I'm reading a book right now. It's one of Kristen Hagen's most recent releases, and I'll get the title for you because I read it on my Kindle, so I don't know what the title is. And it is a woman who, on the eve of her son's graduation from high school, her husband announces that he's in love with someone else, and he's leaving her. But they can't tell her son until he leaves for college.
Right.
The rest of the summer, right? So whatever. So
that's fun.
So she's got 5 weeks or so to live with this, keep it to herself, try and maintain a facade. It's pretty dark, but she is furious. She's furious, and these are the things that she does. Her husband is super meticulous about his clothes. I was actually thinking about this today when I pulled this out of the closet, because I'm like, you know what, that could use an iron, but I don't iron. I just don't. Like, I will steam stuff and let it hang out. So this character's husband is meticulous about his clothes. So she pees in a cup and then adds a little bit of urine to the iron water. So, because she knows he's going to iron his clothes.
Right.
So he's walking around and people are asking him,
it's a good thing they're protecting us.
Are you okay? Like, your clothes smell, or they don't know that it's a clothes, but have you been having issues? Like, do you maybe have a bladder infection or something? And he's like, I don't know. And she's a nurse. So the husband, who's forcing them to live this lie, he's going to her like, what kind of things could cause me to smell like urine? And she's like, well, you could have thyroid problems, blah, blah, blah. She takes Nair, the hair removal stuff, right? She puts it into his body wash container, mixes it, so it's not
that
pure
hair's
Nair.
falling out.
And so then he's like, what? Why would my chest hair suddenly be falling out? Why would my other hair be falling out suddenly? Like, he's freaking out. And she's like, you know what? I just took a cup of water and I poured it in front of the washing machine because I don't know what's leaking.
He'll freak out.
He will look forever to figure out what's leaking. He'll never find it because nothing's leaking.
That's funny. And
as
vicious,
soon as you
man.
said that, I'm like, oh, I wonder, is Paul trying to gaslight her?
Maybe. God, but he's the one that he does too much laundry. He's got a laundry obsession, man.
He does. I think about that because, like your comment, you've been wearing the same. Why not wear a pair of jeans for a week?
Yeah.
What do you?
If it works, unless you're that guy and you smell of urine, then I mean, honestly, it's like, or a pair of sweats. Wear a pair of sweats. And like, honestly, who cares if nobody's going to see me? Although there are some days when I walk around here outside, where I'm sure people are like, "Is she going crazy?" Like,
no.
I'm lucky if my socks match, right?
You know, I was thinking about that today as I was gardening because I was pulling a root. This was in my whole head. This played out as and that's how she died episode, because I'm pulling this thing and our side yard is on there's a bit of a retaining wall there. So I'm working up on the top here, but it's only like it's 6 foot area, not that big. And then 2 feet down here on the lawn. And I'm working on this root and it suddenly let go. And I fell backwards onto my ass.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, well, it's a good thing that happened.
I wish
how
I
it
could
did.
have recorded it.
But okay, so now I've landed in the dirt with my jeans and I've been sitting there. So I'm a mess. When I come in after gardening, it's like all sorts of stuff everywhere. So and then I have to wash my hair. So I'm like, wait a second, deer come by because they've eaten my hostas. And so maybe now I have ticks in my hair. That's gross. I gotta wash my hair. Disgusting. So then I'm like, that's it. Those are never getting worn again. But if I'm just in the house, upstairs, at my computer, not a drop of sweat has come out of me. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna wear these jeans all week.
But that's just it.
But you take your clothes off and Paul throws them in the laundry. I've seen him.
He does. Sometimes I take them off.
That makes it seem like we're really a little bit too intimate together.
Not, but he's also I do have a tendency to take them off and I put him on the floor in my walk-in closet.
And you guys don't
share.
Be in
there. We don't share closets because he's very tidy and I'm very not. But anyway, and then all of a sudden I go to get it. It might be because I don't really wear pajamas. I'll wear like boxer shorts, right, and a t-shirt, and then I throw them there because I'm not wearing them just one night to sleep in.
Totally.
And then I go when they're gone. It's like tea. I put tea down, and there's still tea in the cup, and then it's like, where's my tea? And it's in the the dishwasher. But he's obsessed. He does laundry. He probably does 2 loads a day. I don't know because I don't understand it. And I actually have enough clothes. I could wait until Monday to do laundry.
I do laundry once a month.
Paul does it every day.
But so because Ray does his own laundry, and I don't know how that started, but I am very particular as far as jeans go with jeans, towels go with towels, stuff that is like athletic wear. Not that I'm an athlete, but the stuff that doesn't get fabric softener, that goes in one load. And a lot of my stuff is hang to dry, right? Yeah. So I don't want him doing it because he actually did I'd actually washed it and not put it in the dryer. And he just I threw your stuff in the dryer. And I went, what? Yeah. And it was all my merino wool and it's all fine. But so anyway,
challenge.
But I will do this load once a month. And then I have enough jeans and other things So every 2 weeks I'm doing a crap ton of laundry. Right. But then I'm not doing any in between.
But he's obsessed. Okay. So before we go away about you falling down, we also had what's the right way to say it? It wasn't an incident, but it's certainly a funny story. At some point in the winter, you guys rescued a bird. What kind of?
Yeah,
was it a seagull?
I think it was a seagull. Yeah,
they rescued a seagull, and it's during an ice storm. So there was a whole thing that went with getting the seagull and having it, and then Ray and Roxanne put it in a box in their thing, and our driveways. They're not on a real slant, but they're on a bit of it. Yours is on a bit of it, right? Yeah. There's a bit of a. And so it was all ice, but he wanted to see if the bird was ready to go, and he took it out, and the bird wasn't really ready to go, but it started running away. And,
it was enough ready to get away from him.
Yeah, the seagulls have claws, so he could get in the ice a bit. Well, Ray couldn't, so I think Paul saw it from the window. I wish I had taped it.
I know, me too.
I mean, he's sliding down the thing. He can't catch the seagull. Of course, he's freaking out. Look at Luna. You got to pull her in a little bit. She's definitely relaxed. Okay, you said something there that makes me want to ask you. So how do you think you're going to die?
Oh.
How do you guys think? You should tell us on Facebook.
So, you know what? I think you got me started on this. It's the Buddhist thing. Think about your death a little bit each day so it's not a shock to you. Yep. And I do.
And that's my sister, Beverly, told us. Told me that.
I do think about that. And I'm like, well, probably
in the garden falling down.
Probably at age 98 of general organ failure because I haven't treated them all so well. But also genetically, my organs have not treated me well. Maybe. But also, it could just be that. She thought she could do that and then she died.
Yeah.
That's more likely for me.
Yep.
It'll be some. Whoa!
Everybody, there must be a rabbit.
Yeah. Bird. Yeah. How do you think you're gonna die?
Well, if I was going to choose how to die, I think it would be sitting on a bar stool listening to Jimmy Buffett, and somebody walks in that was in his band, and I get so excited I fall off the bar stool and hit my head and just die. But how will I die? I don't know, because on one side my mom died very young, right? And on the other side my dad lived till 90. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
But all I know is I don't want to be in a fire and I don't want to drown. Those are two claustrophobic-y.
Yeah.
Like I would just like to do one of those where you go to sleep and then you just sail off into, into wherever my next haunting is.
I just keep having this vision of you and me as Thelma and Louise.
She's going to kill me, people. She's going to kill me. I'm going in her car tomorrow, maybe.
It's not that I'm killing you. Exactly.
You should see the look in her eye when you're up close, man. I'm telling you, it's something.
Yeah, let's talk about what we're doing tomorrow, because I think we're
getting close.
Up. Yeah.
Okay, what are we doing tomorrow?
We're going out for brunch.
We are going out for brunch.
So we've been talking about this place forever, and
years.
And during COVID, I don't know if it was still in functioning, but
right.
Since COVID, and then between COVID and now, they've changed location. So it's a little bistro called the Little Beetle.
Yep.
And apparently the brunches they do are spectacular. And the pictures that I've seen,
and I think they close at 3, so they pretty much only do.
So it's only brunch. Okay.
Or like breakfast and maybe lunch, I guess.
Yeah. So that's what time are we doing this tomorrow?
Well, we have a showing at 10:30.
Okay.
So we have to walk the dogs.
Okay.
And then we, as in me and Paul, you don't have to walk the dogs if you don't want to. I just make assumptions.
My dogs need.
Yeah. But then once that's over, and then we can head out. So.
Okay, that sounds good.
And then so that is brunch.
Yeah, that's gonna be lovely.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll take lots of pictures and give a review.
Because we're like, you know what? This is where we live right now. Let's enjoy everything that we have here right now.
Also, let's just go into that. Here's one, and I really liked it because it said something, if I could just find it. Basically, it was like the joy of local, or just buy the damn jam, right? And just sometimes it's just supporting the local community, in a way. And really, the way things are going right now, there's not much we can do to change anything that's happening in the United States except give support, right? And to the Americans that are fighting for democracy, like we can't do anything. We can't contribute it to fight to political parties. I mean, I give money to the ACLU and things like that, but there's only so much of that. But it's like sometimes you just have to look around and say, what could I do today, right? And some of it's supporting local, but some of it's going out to experience the joy, which I think we've done a good job this time. It hasn't been all hell, storm, and mayhem.
I don't know why, but we've been a little perkier today. It's great.
We have been perkier. And you can't, there's nothing, I mean,
Well, honestly, though, the sunshine and the bird song also, behind us.
She almost died in her garden. So, maybe you have a new appreciation of life, man.
Yes.
Right? But so some of these things that supporting your local community matters now more than ever, and it's a quiet act of resistance. Right?
Yeah. That's really good, because I think everyone wants to contribute. Everyone wants to help, but many of us can't do big things. Well, like you were saying, but we can contribute in a tiny way and say, you know what, I support the person next door. Or I'm going to be kind in this tiny little way. But every act of kindness, every act of support matters.
It really does.
It always does. But right now more than ever.
And in fact, I think it's the small things that move up to the bigger things, because, I mean, you and I, as much as, we think this is a very important moment for all of us in community, the other side of that is we're not going to save democracy by ourselves.
No.
But what we can do is just keep uplifting and pushing back and correcting falsehoods that are on social media, and there are a lot of them. But
and encouraging people to think about, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. What do you want? What do you believe in? What do you value? Know yourself. Because if you recognize what it is that you really value and what you want, you won't necessarily be swayed by somebody who tells you, no, this is what you should want. This is what you should believe.
Right.
We do have to know our own minds in relation to...
And our values.
And our values in relation to what's being pushed at us.
No, but also know it's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe check yourself a little. Like one of the challenges I'm having is everybody's blaming the leaders, right? Everybody blames Trump. Everybody blames Pulliver. And it's not that they don't deserve blame. But the thing is, they wouldn't be in power if people didn't support them.
That's right.
Right? And that's the challenge there is also, what are your values and what are you willing to do to defend those values, right?
Yeah.
And it could be small acts, like shopping local. I mean, I'm trying to think, I think by accident in the last 4 months, I've bought U.S. strawberries once, right? I'm not buying U.S. Like if I had to, I would buy a U.S. product because you can't be 100% all the time. Like you can't just cut it off if there's stuff that, if there's stuff my dogs need, or there's things, like that kind of stuff. But we've moved away to the point where, Paul, who is very particular about his ketchup, and he likes Heinz. And people say Heinz is made here. It's really not. There is a Heinz plant, I think, somewhere. But they screwed over the people of Leamington, Ontario. Oh. French's mustard is made here. So we're going to do a switch. And what I'm going to do is get the bottle and start mixing Heinz in, like for a baby, and mixing it in so it moves his taste buds, right?
Like switching a dog from one food to another food. But honestly, like, does it taste different?
I don't know. We should do a taste
Heinz
test
versus what?
French's
ketchup?
Yep.
I'm
gonna get one, and we'll do a taste test.
Yeah, I didn't even know French's made ketchup.
And it's made here.
All right.
Right, but like,
I'm
it's
kind
little,
of a mustard person.
But little things like that, right? Like the stuff where it's like, I won't buy, like, I really wanted. I'm trying to think of what it was. Paul's sister and her husband were here, and I wanted to get like fruit, and it was like, well, I'm not buying fruit from America, so you're getting frozen fruit. And then I did find there's really good strawberries from BC hothouses here. Oh my God, they're great, right? Blueberries, now we're coming into the season. It'll be easier, right? But it's like just little stuff like that where it's like, you know what? You can buy Canadian strawberries that are frozen, right? But it's those little things. And every time I do it, usually there's somebody that says to me, oh, those are Canadian? You know what I mean? Like when you're in the grocery store, people are talking to each other. And what other people, I think I've said this before, other people are doing, because the grocery stores are kind of being sneaky, and they say it's a Canadian product, and if you look closer, it's not. It might have a Canadian company here, but it's a U.S. head office, right?
Okay.
And they're turning them upside down so you can see them, right?
Oh,
so you can tell,
interesting.
right? So there's a little, there's resistance going on, even in Chilliwack, which tends to lean conservative. There's a little bit going on, right?
My mom even asked me about that.
Right.
She's like, "Are you focusing on Canadian now?" And she wouldn't be somebody that I would think of as typically politically
right. Or even tapped into this, right?
Well, she's not somebody who would be a resistor of things, right? But yeah, I think she is. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, it certainly has stirred up Canadian pride, and I mean, now that the Oilers are in, right? So
are they in the finals or semifinals, or where is it at?
I just know Paul was happy yesterday. I don't know, but
I will always watch like the last 10 minutes of the last game or whatever.
But before we sign off, and we will, because we're trying not to make this too long.
We are.
As this is posted, it is going to be Pride Month, and we want to make sure, because the U.S. has taken that off the administration has taken it off their things to be acknowledged list, and we absolutely want to say that don't give a crap who you love, as long as you love, right? Don't care about, right? If your birth gender is not the gender you identify with, good for you, and we're here with you, and like, love who you love, be who you are. I'll punch anybody in the throat you need me to. And like, honestly, we're sorry that this fabulous stinking community is going through all of this, but please know, just because they do shitty things doesn't mean any of us feel this. And remember, we're older, we still have lots to learn, but oh my God, so more people support you than don't. And tell the others to go screw themselves.
Yep.
Right, but I just wanted to, because it really bothers me that's been taken taken out of something. We should be celebrating people being themselves, who they are.
Yeah. Well, Canada is staying with is this a BC thing in June, Pride Month?
I think.
Or is that a federal thing?
I'm not sure, because we have Pride Week in Vancouver, I think.
Okay.
And then we have Pride Month. But it does trickle up, because Pulliver, right, is he has voted against a lot of equal rights, and he has voted for some pretty
really
enforceme things that would hurt this community.
Yeah.
And especially, I think, maybe because visibly the bigots think it's a bit more obvious, especially the trans community, but it's affecting everybody.
Yep.
And like we're getting splashback. I mean, there are bad things happening because they're feeling empowered by the U.S.
Yeah.
Now, none of our governments are doing that. In lots of places, even Chilliwack, I think, has a rainbow flag, which again, conservative, a little bit too far right leaning for my liking, but it definitely is. Now is the time, as an ally, to speak up more.
Yeah.
Because they're unfortunately under attack.
Yeah, for sure. My kids have at least some. I don't know if they always go to the Pride Parade, but they have definitely participated in some form in the past. And initially, I was like, cool, I guess. I don't know how to feel about that, but they all have a lot of very diverse friends, right? And I love that. Yeah. That's great. And I've met some of them, and like any friend, it's like, oh, that's a good friend, that's a bad friend. I don't know, whatever. But
it's got nothing to do with their sexual identity or their gender or anything. But that's just it. And I think for those of us who came of age in a time when people were really fighting for rights. I mean, I'm certainly feeling a flashback. One of the people I love most in the world, my cousin, he passed away, he was gay. Most lovely human in the entire world, gay as pink icing, took me to all the gay bars and I had so much fun, right? The most welcoming community. But I remember when he didn't come out until he was in, I think, probably in his late 30s, right? He had a wife and kid, and he loved his wife, and he loved his child very much. But he was not living as who he was, right? Yeah. And we're kind of going back to that.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I saw a thing on Facebook, and it was somebody saying, why are you going to gay pride parades if you're not gay? And it's like, you should leave this, right? And it was more like, get out of their way, sort of. And a whole bunch of people who appear to be gay.
Get out of their way.
Well,
what does
kind
that
of
mean?
like, why are you going to party when it's their parade?
Oh,
right?
I see.
And
okay.
And it's kind of like, and a whole bunch of people that are gay came on in there, and it was like, no, don't you understand? They're coming to support this community, right?
Yeah.
There's a show of support. It's like, and at least those people said, no, we like this, right?
Yeah,
it's good because what it also shows is there are allies out there who care.
Well, that's
right?
the thing, right? Like that, and that's a hard thing to know how to do, right? Because that's my goal. Is I want to be an ally. I want to be an ally for my trans niece. I want to be an ally for my kids' friends. I want to be an ally for the people in my writing world. Oh my gosh, there's so many people in the writing world that have been underrepresented.
Like, you see these people during gay, and it's like, do you need a hug? And it's like grandmas and grandpas and all the people because so many people got disowned by explaining who they are, right? And it's like, that's just it. It's just to show your support, to be an ally, and to voice something because there are lots of people who are strong in who they are, and they're out there fighting the battle, but there's still lots of people who haven't come out yet. Yeah. And the more people like me and you say, what the hell, man? Yeah. I've got your back. The stronger they get. Yeah, exactly. Right? It is. But it really bothers me because this community has fought so hard for equality. Yeah. And they're getting kicked in the teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Anyway, just so you know, you need a hug, you need somebody to punch somebody in the throat.
We're
yours. Yeah. She'll hug and I'll punch. So, that's kind of how it goes.
That's what are you grateful for right now, Ruth?
I am grateful for being able to find the joy in the podcast. Right? To be able to find the joy a little bit. It might inspire me to write another love note, which I haven't written for a month.
I think that's okay. Like, I think it's okay to write love notes when the spirit moves you. Like, you had a really ambitious goal initially every day. That's brutal, because you know what? Not everything that comes out of our brain needs to be for public consumption. I'd like to think that it is. I'd like to think that it's all gold.
Right.
And thinking that way pushes us to maybe find the goal, because absolutely I've seen you dig that, but when you're not feeling it, you shouldn't. And
I did it one year, right? Where I did in 2018, which again, Trump was in power, so surprising that I felt I needed love notes. But you know what? This is harder. Yeah. It's harder to get up and doing this and talking about the joy here it really helps. But you can't it is hard to be like, look at these beautiful flowers, when what you just heard on the news is they've deported another 4-year-old kid that's really sick.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Like it's I think we're in this insane time that it's hard to do. So I have to acknowledge that, because I do get messages saying, oh, I miss your love notes, right? Like, they help me.
That's nice.
And it's like, it is lovely.
Yeah.
But the other side of it is like, I'm not doing it because I don't want to. I'm not doing it because I can't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I am
That's
so
different.
disgusted
Yeah.
with a huge group of people right now.
Or you know that whatever you're going to say isn't going to help.
It's not going to help
Or
anybody.
or it's just, I get that. Yeah, I get that.
But yes.
That happens.
Well, and especially with this, like, we're in a really funny time, but what is coming out, and there's all sorts of really good stuff, like courts are stopping a whole bunch of Trump crap. I mean, Elon Musk has left the White House, and honestly, it's probably going to be out here by the time you guys see this, but Google Elon Musk and Stephen Miller and thruple. It's really freaking funny. It's so funny. I'm just going to leave that for you to if more comes out, I'll talk about it, but Wired Magazine had it, and they're pretty credible. But I think there's a lot of good going on out there, and just keep fighting back is all I have to say.
Yeah.
Okay, what are you grateful for? Now that I took us on this downbound
I am
spiral.
grateful for Samin Nosrat, who is the author of Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat.
Oh, yes.
And she has the recipe for the Ligurian focaccia that is about to go in the oven.
Right.
It's just rising right now. And we're going to be eating it momentarily.
We are going to be eating it, and you'll have to take
it's
pictures
good.
of it.
Yeah.
You have to take pictures before the oven
Oh,
and after,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. So that's
We'll
good.
definitely. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's
So,
good stuff.
What do we want more of, Roxanne?
More happy hours. What do we want less of, Ruth?
Less bullshit.
Less bullshit. Thanks
Okay.
for being here, you guys.
Yep.
This
Have a
was
good
a fun
weekend.
time.
It was a good.
Yeah,
So tell us
yeah.
what you think. Subscribe. Get all your you know what? Blackmail your friends into subscribing. That would be a good thing. We could talk about that on the podcast. Oh, and at some point, maybe the next podcast, we're going to talk about the little fun party we're having, and
Oh,
then we're
yes.
gonna.
Oh,
but
yes.
We won't tell you. We'll tell you then.
Yeah,
By then
we'll
it'll be
tell you
over.
then. Yeah.
So we'll tell you how it went, and we'll take
Well,
pictures.
we got to do some teasers because this is going to
Yes.
lead to a really fun episode.
It is going to lead
Yeah,
to a fun
yeah.
episode.
Anyway,
Okay.
thanks for being here,
Have a good
guys.
weekend.
Talk to you soon.